Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. Today I'm going to be sharing with you next year's relaxed homeschool curriculum for my soon-to-be 9th and 11th graders. And as I always start my curriculum videos, if you came here looking for a vast array of textbook selections, you're not going to find that here. As relaxed homeschoolers, we tend to keep the attitude of as little textbooks as possible all the way up through our high school years. And that is actually something that really differentiates us from a lot of homeschooling families who are homeschooling teenagers or kids in high school, because a lot of people are okay with being relaxed as their children are younger, but then as their children approach those high school years, they really tend to get a little bit intimidated, a little nervous, and they really start assigning lots of schoolish assignments, very traditional schoolwork, in order to, prepare their children for college, or I should say their teens for college, or, just for life learning, which, if I'm going to be honest, textbooks are not the way to prepare a child for life. That's a fact. Okay, so actually I just made a video a couple of days ago, and in it I talked about our experience with homeschooling high school so far, because last year I actually did graduate my first homeschooled child. And I did start out homeschooling high school very much the same way that other people do, with lots of, textbooks and lots of school assignments, and just getting really, really stressed out over the whole thing. But as her high school years went on, I began to see that the experiences that she was having out in the workforce and out in life were having far more of an impact than any of her assignments ever would. And that really does matter in the grand scheme of things when it comes to educating your teenagers. Because I have finally reached the point where I'm not really trying to train my children academically in high school. Yes, of course, I want them to brush up on their academics, and I want them to learn things, and I want them to know things. But what I am more concerned with is teaching my children how to become adults, how to know how to find information for themselves, how to trust in themselves so that they know that they have all of the tools and the intelligence that they need in order to find things out for themselves. So I'll link to that video in the description box below, because I'm not going to really stick to that any further in this video. And I actually called it The Surprising Truth About Homeschooling High School. So if you want to see how we evolved from very stressed out about homeschooling high school to where we're at now, that's the video that you want to watch. So anyway, again, I'll be homeschooling a 9th grader and an 11th grader next year. And we do not use many textbooks at all. And that is just, it holds true through all of the years. So, but what I am going to do is I will just start with each textbook that we are using, and then for the rest of it, I'll explain how they're going to learn everything else. So for grammar, and as I said in another video, if something is beat up, you know that it works in our family. If we've had something 5 years and it looks brand new, it's something that did not work for us. So yes, this is pretty dog-eared because it works. So they will both be using Dailygrams. And what I like about this is that this is something that even if your child has already completed it, they can really repeat it over and over again, because it does not hurt anything to go over, the writing structure and the parts of speech and punctuation. It's great practice, and it literally takes 5 to 10 minutes a day. Now, as for writing, up until this point, my kids do their writing through notebooking, copywork, journaling, those sorts of things. But my daughter, who will be entering 9th grade, just started using Writers in Residence this year. And I did post a video on a review for this, so I will link that down below, so I'm not going to get too much into it right now. But what we did find is that it is a great preparation for a child who wants to go to college. It really does show them step by step the writing format, but it does it in an interesting way, because as people who don't like textbooks, I tend to find them really dry and dull and hard to pay attention to. This is not like that at all. And what I also really like is that it does show the kids how to write in MLA format, which is one of the formats that they do have kids writing in when they are in college. I think it's MLA and APA formatting. So that is what I'm actually going to have both of them using for writing, because I think that it's just a nice transition from notebooking into really getting prepared for college writing. Because at this point, my 11th grader is pretty sure that she wants to go to college. My 9th grader, she's not sure, but she tends to lean towards engineering. And if she continues that way, then yes, she's going to need it. So this is definitely going to help with that. Now for math next year. Right now, my daughter, my 11th grader, well, she's not in 11th grade yet. She's in 10th grade now. But this year, she had been working through Life of Fred beginning algebra, and she started to not enjoy Life of Fred as much. So she did switch mid-year to no-nonsense algebra. And she does like this one a lot better. It actually has video tutorials that your child can watch that shows them how to do the exercises. My daughter will not watch the video tutorials though. She doesn't like learning by video, so she does ask me to explain this to her. And with Algebra 1, I'm still pretty okay with that. So I can explain it at this point. But after she does finish No Nonsense Algebra, I really have not found a textbook in higher math that I really, really enjoy as much as No Nonsense Algebra. I wish there were like a No Nonsense Geometry or something. So far, I have not found that though. So what she's going to do is Life of Fred Advanced Algebra, unless we do find something different. A lot of these things are tentative because I really do let my high schoolers take the initiative in their learning, and I let them have a lot of say, because these are important formative years that they really have to learn how to trust themselves in their learning. But we're going to try Life of Fred Advanced Algebra. I'm hoping that taking a little bit of a break from it will help her. I think that she was just finding some of the storylines to be a little juvenile, and she was just kind of at the point where she was just saying things like, Mom, I don't care about reading the story. I just want to do the problems. So, and it was hard because you do really have to follow the storyline in order to understand a lot of the problems in Life of Fred. So I get her point of view. So we're going to try that though, if I can't find anything else after she's finished with No Nonsense Algebra. So again, that one's kind of iffy, but we'll see what happens. Now my daughter, who is in 9th grade, she also switched from Life of Fred. None of my kids are using Life of Fred anymore. She's using CTC Math this year, and she loves it, and that is actually an online math website. Now again, my 11th grader, she's not interested in doing online math. She wants textbooks. But my other daughter, my younger daughter, she's happy with CTC Math. So we're going to stay with that for next year. Okay, now for all the rest of the subjects, we are going to be doing, and I should say that includes, you know, like civics, history, geography, all the branches of science, electives, all of those sorts of things are going to be delight-directed or interest-led learning. And I know that a lot of people are uncomfortable with that, especially at this age group. But I think what it comes down to is that you really have to learn how to trust your child. You really have to learn that your kids are not going to come up with all sorts of worthless things that they want to pursue, because I think that's what a lot of people think. They think that if they tell their kids, okay, you can learn about what you want to learn about, that they're going to find things that really don't have value. But first of all, I just want to say that if your kids find it interesting, it does have value. And second of all, I do want to say that, you know, your kids might surprise you. So for example, my daughter, who will be going into 11th grade, she did mainly delight-directed learning this year. And the topics that she chose would really surprise you. And they encompass all of the different subject areas, which is why I'm not concerned about doing textbooks with my kids, because their interests really just, it's just like a buffet of different topics and subjects for them. So now, some of the topics actually that my 16-year-old daughter was doing this year. For example, she did World War II and the Holocaust. She did the Salem witch trials. She did plants and botany. And then that actually led her into homeopathy. She was really learning about medicinal plants and those sorts of things. I'm trying to remember. Oh, she learned about ancient Egypt. And I'm talking about everything ancient Egypt. Like she learned about Egyptian mythology. She learned about King Tut. She delved so far that she actually was looking into the Book of the Dead for Egyptian mythology, and she actually had to order that from a college from our library, and they probably thought she was a little strange because the librarian kept asking her if this is for a school assignment, and my daughter kept telling her, well no, I just want to see it. I just want to read it. So yes, so they would surprise you. And even when they're doing things that you would consider to be whimsical. For example, my daughter, my 16-year-old, the latest thing that she's doing right now, she wanted to learn about fairies and elves. And so now she was on all of this heavy stuff earlier. So I had absolutely no trouble with going on fairies and elves. But this is folklore, you know, this is an elective. So, and she really does take it seriously. Yeah, she likes to decorate, so that's her little stash there. But as you can see, she doesn't really like the notebooking pages. She prefers to use regular notebook paper, and that's okay with me. But she, I don't know if you can tell because she writes really lightly, but she just has tons of information here. And this is something that she is still working on. But she has just been having such a great time learning about this, and that's what she does. You know, she finds a topic that she's interested in. She'll get a bunch of books out of the library on it. Sometimes she might look it up online on a website, and then she creates notebooks for each of these topics, and she loves it. And again, she's covering all of these different areas. And another thing that she's really interested in is photography. So she goes out and takes pictures too. And she learns, you know, different techniques, different ways to, different angles, and I'm not good with photography at all. But thankfully, you know, there's lots of good tips online. I've got a little, what are they called, board on Pinterest that's just for photography for my kids, because also my 18-year-old son really likes photography too. So again, delight-directed learning is something that really can be followed all the way through the high school years. So that is really what we're going to continue doing. And I'm going to do that with my younger daughter too. Now I will say that she does learn a little bit differently than my older daughter. My older daughter, that I was just talking about, she's very Charlotte Mason style learning. She likes to read a lot, and she loves living books and those sorts of things. Now my younger daughter, she enjoys that, but she also really likes hands-on learning. She's an active learner. So what I'm going to do with her is I'm going to alternate. One day she will do the delight-directed learning of a topic of her choice with notebooking to get some extra writing practice in there, and so that she will have her very own portfolio of the topics that she studies. And then I'm also going to alternate, again, here's another book that always looks like it's been through a war because we use it so much, CONUS. And I'm going to continue doing the unit studies with her through CONUS. Because again, there are so many topics in here that can really be used for high school. And generally speaking, they say that it's up through like 8th grade, but it's so easy to tweak these activities so that they will actually fit older children. And for example, some of the unit studies that are in this one that could actually be good for high schoolers is, you know, they are learning about the American Revolution. They are learning about government and founding fathers, the Constitution, architecture, the electoral process, citizenship, scientists and the scientific method. So all of these unit studies are units that could easily be tweaked to fit an older child. And I've got to say that the way that these activities are listed here, a lot of them don't even need any tweaking. They're very involved, and they're something that really will challenge most kids. So CONUS is something that you really should look into. I did do a video on CONUS a little while ago. It wasn't so much a review of it as it just shows you how we use it in our house, but I will link that down below. And that is it for our high school curriculum for next year. So again, as you can see, this isn't something where they're going to do history on Tuesdays and Thursdays and biology on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then they're going to do health on this day and this day. It's not like that for us. Our learning is very holistic. We tend to tie everything together because life is not broken up into subjects. So I don't feel that my child's education needs to be either. So I'm hoping that I covered everything. If you have any questions, you can leave one down below. I promise you that I will answer you eventually. Sometimes it takes a while, but I will answer you. If you have any comments or any suggestions, especially for higher level math textbooks, I would love that because I'm still not sure about that. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love if you would do that. And I hope you have a great day.